Every evening at exactly 6:45 p.m., a thin, elderly man named Thomas Reed sat on the same wooden bench in Lincoln Park. No one knew why. People passed him daily, joggers, dog walkers, couples holding hands, but Thomas never looked at them. His eyes remained fixed on the pathway ahead, as if he were waiting for someone who was always late. He wore the same gray coat every day. In his left pocket, there was always a small white envelope. And in his eyes, there was always regret. For 27 years, Thomas followed the same routine. Sit, wait, leave. No phone, no book, no conversation. Just waiting. The first suspense. One cold Tuesday evening, Emily Carter, a journalist struggling to find meaning in her work, noticed him again. She had seen him before, many times. Something about the stillness unsettled her. Most people wait with impatience, tapping fingers, checking time. Thomas waited as if movement itself would break something fragile. That night, Emily slowed her pace. She sat on the bench opposite him. "Good evening," she said politely. Thomas didn't respond. Not rude, just distant, as if he hadn't heard. At 7:15 p.m., Thomas stood up. He paused, looked at the empty path one last time, and walked away. Emily watched him disappear into the dim streetlight. For the first time, she wondered, what happens when he stops coming? The disappearance. 3 days later, the bench was empty. Emily noticed immediately. On the 4th day, it was still empty. On the 5th day, something felt wrong. On the 6th day, she found the envelope. It lay beneath the bench, carefully placed, untouched by rain. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. On the front, written in steady handwriting, "To be opened only if I don't return." Emily hesitated. This wasn't curiosity. This felt like responsibility. The letter. Emily opened it slowly. The handwriting was neat, calm, too calm. "Dear stranger, if you are reading this, then I didn't make it back. Please don't feel sorry for me. I chose this ending long ago. My name is Thomas Reed, and this bench is where I lost my life, long before my heart stopped." Emily's breath caught. 50 years ago, I sat here with my wife, Margaret. She asked me one question. "Are you ready to stay?" I wasn't. Emily felt a tightening in her chest. I told her I needed time. She told me love doesn't survive postponement. I walked away. She didn't follow. I thought that meant I won. The letter continued, page after page. Thomas had returned to the bench weeks later, then months, then years, waiting for a woman who never came back. I waited because it was easier than apologizing, easier than admitting I was afraid. I waited until waiting became my punishment. At the bottom, one final request. "If you can, find Margaret Reed. Tell her I finally stayed." An address was written beneath. Emily folded the letter and held it to her chest. She already knew she would go. The search. Margaret Reed lived in a quiet assisted living facility outside the city. Emily knocked. A frail woman opened the door. Sharp eyes, white hair, strong posture. "Yes?" Margaret asked. Emily introduced herself, carefully. When she mentioned Thomas's name, Margaret didn't flinch. She sighed. "I knew this day would come," she said. "The truth." Margaret invited Emily inside. From a drawer, she pulled out a bundle of letters. Dozens. Unopened. Every single one written by Thomas. "I saw him once," Margaret said softly. "From a distance. Years ago." Emily froze. "You saw him?" "Yes. Sitting on the bench. Waiting." "Why didn't you go to him?" Margaret's voice broke for the first time. "Because I was tired of being the one who returned." Margaret looked at the letters. "I told myself, if he ever came to me, I would forgive him." She swallowed. "He never did." Emily hesitated before speaking. "He waited every evening," she said quietly. "Until last week." Margaret closed her eyes. Tears slipped down her face. "I wish," she whispered, I had known. 2 weeks later, Emily returned to Lincoln Park. The bench was no longer empty. Margaret sat there, holding a single envelope. She placed it beneath the bench and said softly, "I came back."